There are 7 reasons that your prospects don't want to buy from you. I discovered these 7 reasons as I went from $0 to earning over $100,000 per month in commissions as a salesperson. And I did that within 17 months of taking my first ever sales call. How was I able to do that so quickly? Because where most people go wrong in life is when they're trying to solve a problem, they don't have mental models that allow them to actually solve that problem effectively and efficiently. I stole a mental model from Charlie Munger that allowed him to amass a net worth of $2.6 billion with a B and become the mentor to Warren Buffett. Charlie Munger used this secret strategy to be able to solve very complex problems, in actual fact, in a very simple and easy way. I stole that and used it as a salesperson to go from $0 to earning over $100,000 per month in commissions. And I'm going to give you that strategy and all of the details and the nuances in this training so that you can stop having your prospects never wanting to buy from you. And as a result, you not earning the commissions that you want to be making, not earning the money that you want to be making, and ultimately not living the life that you want to be living. So that strategy is called always invert. It's easier to solve a problem in reverse than it is to solve going forwards many times. The biggest problem that salespeople want to solve, whether they think about it consciously or unconsciously, is how would I get all of my prospects to always want to buy from me all of the time? That would be the number one problem that salespeople want to solve. How do I get all of my prospects to always want to buy from me all of the time? Well, that would be a very difficult problem to solve in that direction. But what about if we make it easier by inverting the problem? How do I guarantee that my prospects don't want to buy from me? And how about I just don't fuck up any of those things? That is the secret strategy that I learned from Charlie Munger. And it was very, very profitable. As I mentioned, it allowed me to earn $100,000 per month in commission. So as I went through my 17 months as a salesperson, I reviewed my calls and I reviewed my life. I journaled every single day inside a physical handwritten journal. What caused the results that I had today? This is a skill called attribution. And I realized that there were 7 different reasons that my prospects didn't want to buy from me. And one by one, I started knocking down those 7 different reasons until I wasn't screwing up any of those 7 reasons that my prospects would never want to buy from me. And I'm going to give you those 7 reasons, starting with reason number 1. So the first reason is who you are, your energy, your vibe, your intention, the person that you are. This is starting at a very, very, very high level. And for some of you, it may be too high of a level. Unfortunately, this YouTube channel, this training is high level. This is not for beginner salespeople that want to stay beginners. It could be for a beginner salesperson that wants to skyrocket past the average salesperson, or it could be a middle to semi-advanced salesperson that wants to become the best. And the first thing you have to understand at a high level is the reason that a prospect would never want to buy from you is they don't like who you are. Now, that might not be a conscious conversation that they're having as like, I don't like you because you said this or you did that or you're wearing this color t-shirt. I don't like the green that you're wearing. It's not about that. So I'm going to explain this in a story that I learned from another mentor. And it wasn't my personal mentor. This was the relationship between a mentor and a mentee. So have you heard of a guy called Tony Robbins? I'm sure you have. One of the founding forefathers of modern personal development, one of the most famous coaches that are out there in the online space. Tony Robbins had a mentor. Key thing, just a quick side tangent, is anybody successful hired a mentor. So just a quick tidbit for you there. And Jim Rohn was the guy that was Tony Robbins' mentor. And Jim Rohn has some very great personal development tapes, old school, like cassette tapes. And on one of those cassette tapes, which I've listened to, he teaches a principle called the deservedness factor. The deservedness factor simply means, do you deserve to be reaping the rewards that you're looking for? Are you actually being a kind person? And by the way, kind doesn't mean, especially in a sales context, being nice to someone. Kind is actually telling them the truth, even if it stings for the prospect. So the first thing is deservedness factor, which is the best way to measure who you are. If you look at yourself, the way you're investing in yourself or not, the way you're putting in the fucking work or you're not, the way you're hiring a mentor or you're not, the way you're actually showing up to your sales calls and showing up to your life, are you in shape mentally, physically, spiritually? Are you taking care of your finances, no matter how small or large your monthly commission check is? Are you picking up litter on the road when you walk past it? You might think, Josh, really picking up litter, that's going to make me more sales? Yes. If you learn energy, if you learn spirituality, frequency, vibration, all of that stuff, really, if you translated energy, frequency, vibration into a term that was more, let's call it down to earth, that term would simply be deservedness. Do you deserve in your energy, your frequency, your vibration to attract what you're looking for in your life? And so the best thing for you to do is to write down on a piece of paper, and I recommend you do this right now. You can write it on your iPhone, on your notes, or just get a piece of paper and a pen. Hopefully you got a nice pen. And write down your score for your deservedness factor on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being, I absolutely deserve to be making $100,000 per month in commissions as a salesperson, as an example. 0 would be, I really don't deserve to be closing anybody or making any money. What is the number that you gave yourself? Second thing you want to do is create what's called attribution, which is what is it about who you are, how you're showing up in life, or not really showing up and putting in the fucking work and committing, holding yourself to a standard of excellence. What is it about who you are that is why you gave yourself that number, probably, hopefully, if you're being honest with yourself, less than 10. If you gave yourself a 6, why a 6? Now, we don't really care about the reasons you gave yourself a 6 instead of a 0. We care about why a 6 and not a 10. So why not a 7? Why not an 8? Why not a 9? And why not a 10? Write those down. Now, being dead honest with you, the majority of you watching this YouTube video at this point will be pussies and turn it off. Oh no, Josh is going to make me do some work? Well, if you want to make any more money than you're making now, how the fuck do you think you're going to do that without doing some work? First part of doing any work is self-reflection, self-awareness, understanding, know thyself. These are adages that are as old as time. You don't want to put in the work and actually go through some very simple, basic 1 to 10 questions with me? Turn the fucking video off now and settle for the income that you're currently making. You still here? Okay, well then do the exercise that I'm telling you to do. What number did you give yourself out of 10? Why that number, not a high number? And you might want to keep watching this video and come back to this. That's fine. But you've got to do this work. What are the things? It might be, you know what? I'm not taking care of my health. I don't really deserve to be leading people on a sales call, which is what closing really is leadership, because I'm not really leading myself. Do you deserve to be closing people and making more money than you're making now based on the true, honest amount of commitment you're putting in to mastering your craft of sales? What are the reasons? Is it your health? Is it your daily habits? Is it your spirituality? Is it your mindset? Is it the way that you're lying to yourself and other people around you that you're better than you are? Oh yeah, I'm really great at sales. Yeah, I'm training all the time. Are you? How many hours did you train yesterday? How many hours did you train yesterday? Now, taking the sales call, that's not training. That's taking the sales call. It's like the basketball player that wants to be in the NBA and be the all-star that says, well, I'm playing a lot of games. Yeah, but before the games, are you on the court practicing your dribbling, your shooting, running the lane, running the laps? No. Are you in the gym? No. Well, that's before training and after training. That's where it really counts. It's like Muhammad Ali said to an interviewer when the interviewer said, hey, how many sit-ups do you do? He said, well, I only start counting my sit-ups when it starts hurting. Deservedness factor. Are you counting only when it starts hurting, or are you just doing the easy work? So energetically, the law of vibration, you attract what you are. You attract people that will want to buy from you when you can look consciously or unconsciously at yourself in the mirror and say, I would buy from myself. Okay, why? Or why wouldn't you buy from yourself? If you want to make more money, you need to focus on the areas where you're slipping up on this. You've got a money leak, as I call it, in who you are. So deservedness factor is the first reason that your prospects don't want to buy from you, is who you are simply doesn't deserve to be making $30,000 a month, $40,000 a month, $50,000 a month. Do the exercise. Number 1, what is your number out of 10? Number 2, why not a high number? We'll get to, at the end of this video, what you're going to do with the next steps. All right. Number 2, second reason that your prospects don't want to buy from you is your skill set. When they hop on a call with you and you start asking your questions, and as the prospect starts opening up, you then get lost. You're like, oh shit, how do I go deeper? How do I get more to the truth here? Or how do I get a fuller picture of what's really going on? You just don't have the skill of communication, of human psychology, being able to read the prospect, understand their body language, their tonality, their fidgeting, understanding the rationalizing words that they're using. NLP, it's known as deletions, distortions, and generalizations. I don't teach NLP. You don't need to know that it's called NLP. It's simply listening to someone going, they said they're making a load of money. What would the next thing be that you should say on a sales call? Awesome. How much exactly did you make last month? If you don't know how to drill in to the data and go deeper and deeper and deeper and get a fuller and fuller picture and get a truer and truer read of the prospect situation, your skill set is simply why your prospects don't want to buy from you. consciously or unconsciously, and I'm going to say that phrase a lot through this video, your prospects realize we've got this deep into the layers, into the truth. We've gone this far, but there's all of this that we haven't uncovered. If your skill set is impeding you from going all the way into the abyss of what's really going on in the prospect's life, they won't want to buy it from you. Consciously or unconsciously, they won't want to give you money. People want to give money to people. In fact, that would be flipping the problem the other way up. Let's stick with it this way. People don't want to give money to people that they don't automatically think, holy shit, this person is good at what they do. They are really an expert. They are blowing my mind, even though I'm not in sales and I don't want to get into sales, how they're asking me these freaking questions and getting me to spill my life out on a silver platter. People want to give money to people that do that, and people don't want to give money to people that they're on the phone with, phone call or video call, that they're like, meh, this person's just, they're not doing anything that crazy. Like, I could have probably got this far in my own self-reflection. That's what the prospect would be saying. So, reason number 2, your skill set and your lack of mastery of your skill set is why your prospects don't want to buy from you. Let's get into number 3. Third one is your beliefs. Your beliefs create your reality. This is another slight variation on point number 1, which is energy, the holographic universe that we live in, parallel universes. If you dive deep into quantum physics, you'll realize that what happens in your life is not something happens and then you analyze it and have a belief about it. You have a belief that creates the reality. And so inside the mastermind that I run for salespeople that want to learn all of this and want to remove all of the reasons that their prospects weren't buying from them so that they can make more money, I teach omnipotent belief installation, which means simply installing the beliefs that are going to give you the best reality that you can possibly have. And some of these beliefs are crazy. They're extreme. But when you install these beliefs, you start getting an extreme reality. Do you want to be in the middle of the road, or do you want to be at the extremes? Do you want to be the outlier? Do you want to be the outstanding person? If you do, if you understand about physics, quantum physics, reality creation, you know then you need to have outstanding beliefs. And so one of those beliefs that I teach is never think that your prospect is unqualified. That's not how I teach it. That would be inside the mastermind. But I'm going to read you out an example from one of the students that went through the training, installed this belief, and this is what happened. So this is Fernando, and this is inside the Unicorn Closer Mastermind. We have a whole section with thousands of different wins from our students. And he says in the title, old me would have disqualified her. New me closed $8,800 with zero follow-up. So he goes on to say, closed an $8,800 paid in full from a client who, in the past, I would have mentally disqualified right away. Not because she asked about budget, she didn't, but because of her lower salary. The old version of me would have started asking budget questions because he saw her salary was lower and talked myself out of the close. But after Wednesday's live session, every Wednesday I do a 4 or 5 hour live training inside the mastermind, going through all of this. We do call reviews, role plays, training, belief installation, everything like that. He says, but after Wednesday's live session, I made the decision to demonstrate leadership, take the demo, and trust she would see the value. She did. She borrowed all the money to get started, and he puts an emoji with an exploding head. No follow-up, no chasing, no hesitation. I sent the link after the call. Today she messaged me on her own, done. Please let me know, what do I have to do for the onboarding process? And he goes on to say, and I've got another one like this on the way. Another prospect that he's closing or going to close that he would have disqualified. So this is your beliefs. If your beliefs are creating a reality where your prospects wouldn't buy from you and they don't want to buy from you, then that is the reason that your prospects don't want to buy from you. You are literally manifesting this because the way you've been trained is follow this little sales process and, pre-qualify everyone and check their finances. I understand the rationale to it, but it's very, very low IQ. And what I mean by that is anyone that tells you, follow this process like this because it seems logically rational isn't understanding the irrationality of quantum physics and actual reality creation. That's why when you choose a sales mentor, go be very careful who you choose. Are you choosing someone that just has, I'm doing the Donald Trump here, that has all the rational reasons why you should follow this sales process? Well, how much do they actually know about life? Have they actually been trained on spirituality? Have they actually been trained on internal mastery? Have they actually been trained on health, superhuman health, as we train inside the Unicorn Closer Mastermind? The reason that I was able to get to $100,000 per month was because my mentor was not a one-trick pony. He is a holistic master at integrating all of the aspects of life that all work as a fabric together. Your fitness, your faith, your finances, your relationships, your spirituality, which ties into faith in many aspects. It's all interwoven. When you pull one of them, it pulls the other direction. They're all intertied. If you hire a mentor or if you work with a mentor, God forbid if you don't even have a mentor, that's just absurd that you say you want to make more money, but you don't have a mentor. But if you have a not great mentor and they don't understand and train holistically, you'll be pulling on one thread and either getting bad results or significantly limited results because all of the threads have to pull together, all of the different areas of your life. For example, this spirituality one. So your beliefs, for example, believing that all your prospects are unqualified because of the finances that they put in their application form, or, for whatever reason, what their income is or their rough income. You create that reality where your prospects don't want to buy from you because you've actually manipulated or warped the version of the prospect that turns up to your sales call. Now, that's going to go over a lot of your heads. That's parallel universes, where you think you get a prospect on a call, and when they turn up to the call, it's predetermined what money they've got in the bank, what credit cards they've got access to, what savings they've got access to, how they could or couldn't buy the program. It's not how parallel universes work. When you actually get on the sales call, how that call can go splits off into all sorts of different directions, and the parallel universe that you tread is based on how you show up, and a part of how you show up is what are your expectations? What is your belief? You show up to that call and your belief is, this is awesome. Like, this is a person that works in McDonald's and they, theoretically don't have much money. I'm so excited to be on the call with them because they're going to figure out how to invest $10,000. You see how absurd the belief sounds when I say it out loud? But you already know, because you're a smart enough person that you're watching these YouTube videos, you're not watching, fucking cat videos. You're smart enough to know that when I say that, you're like, I think if I did have that belief, that my reality would be better. It would be significantly better. So the third reason that your prospects don't want to buy from you is your beliefs. You create your reality based on your beliefs. If you want a better reality, you want prospects to not want to buy from you, have better beliefs, which is what we train on inside the mastermind, how to install these omnipotent beliefs, all seeing, all knowing, all powerful, all loving beliefs that allow you to create the most wonderful reality that you could live as a salesperson. All right. Reason number 4 that your prospects don't want to buy from you is you're being too nice. You're being too nice. Now, this is an interesting one because we are conditioned in the matrix to believe that being nice is a positive thing. But leadership is not about being nice. It's about being effective, getting the result that you want as a salesperson. And if you're ethical, that would be something you want because it's also what the prospect truly wants and what they truly need. Most salespeople, the reason their prospects don't want to buy from them is they're too nice. The closer, the salesperson is too nice. And when you're a salesperson on a sales call that is hearing the lies, the excuses, the rationalizations, the justifications of your prospect, and you don't hold the mirror up to them and show them their reality is full of lies, your prospect doesn't want to buy from you because they subconsciously, subconsciously more than consciously in this one, they feel that they know themselves that they're lying. And when you're then nice, oh yeah, that's okay. Or most times salespeople just don't even say anything. They just move on. Unconsciously, the prospect is thinking, I don't want to fucking buy from this person. This person's too nice. Now that is a big mental shift that you have to get your head around. And the best way to get your head around a big mental shift is to change your environment. If you're in an environment where you want to squat 300 kilos and you are going to a commercial gym, the likelihood that you get there, which first you have to see it in your mind and your imagination before you'll see it in your reality, is very slim. But what if you started going to a powerlifting gym where 300 kilos might be something that 50% of the members can actually do? 50% are working their way there, maybe 20%, 10%, 5% are doing 320 kilos, 340 kilos, 360 kilos. The best way to change your modus operandi, whether you're being too nice or you remove that nice guy or nice gal syndrome, is to change your environment. When people join the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, the first thing they realize is, oh, this isn't a community of nice guys and nice gals. That doesn't mean we're not supportive. We're not encouraging. We love to share wins that everyone's sharing. Every time someone joins every day, everyone's commenting, welcome aboard, congratulations, investing in yourself, you're in the right place, all of that. It's very supportive. But when one of the closers is playing small or lying to themselves or rationalizing, you will see the comments pop off on their post inside the private portal that we have for the mastermind of questioning them, challenging them, being curious why they are playing small and holding them to a higher standard. And the reason that then other salespeople are able to evolve into that higher version of themselves is they've now joined that environment where that is the baseline. So when I say being too nice, you know what that means on your sales calls, but do you know why it causes your prospects to not want to buy from you? When you don't call them out on their bullshit, when you don't challenge them, prospects actually unconsciously want you to challenge them. They want you to not be nice on them. I learned this from Jordan Peterson as well. I relearned it in a different phrasing from Jordan Peterson. And he said, if someone has a phobia and you want to heal them, and he's a clinical psychologist, so this is from a clinical psychological literature point of view, what does the research say? The worst thing you can do, short-term and long-term, to a person is downplay the fear. Let's say someone's scared of spiders. Oh, the spider's only this big. It's not poisonous. It's not going to hurt you. Like, you're bigger than it, and trying to rationalize to the person suffering with the phobia that the fear is very small. What that actually does to the person that is suffering is make them feel smaller. They're like, fuck, I feel even worse about myself that I'm so stupid and irrational and weak and pathetic that I'm afraid of this non-poisonous tiny spider that I could stand on. How you actually help someone through that is, instead of making the fearful thing smaller and trying to downplay it, which actually brings the person down to that level of incapability of, oh, well, this is such a small threat, then if you can't overcome this tiny threat, then you must equally be as incompetent. And you're going to see how I flip this back into sales in a minute. What you actually do is you say, yeah, this is a spider, and there are spiders that can kill someone in one bite. And you then build up the person that they can overcome that monster. Jordan Peterson talks a lot about it from a mythological point of view. You don't say that the mythical beast is actually, futile and it's not capable of hurting you. You become the hero of the journey. You get your sword, you get your shield, you get stronger. Hercules, in the cartoon of Hercules, the Disney movie, he gets trained. He goes from this skinny kid to this big, strong guy so that he can overcome these monsters. In a sales context, when you downplay the potential capability of your prospects by basically being nice on them and saying, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that rationalization, that excuse, that bullshit, that lie, and you're too nice on them, you're actually bringing that person lower in their hero-ness, their heroic capabilities. What you actually want to do is be harsh on them. Hey, man, this is a pretty serious decision, and you're scared, and quite frankly, you being scared is totally normal. That's fine, but you need to do this, because not only if you don't do it will you not accomplish your goal, but if you don't do it and you let your fear run your decisions, what happens after that? Now you've continuously allowed your fears to run your decisions. And so you're being direct with them. You're not being nice. Oh yeah, it's a big decision. Do you want to think about it? Do you want to get back to me? Do you want to, go ask someone else for permission? Ask your wife, ask your husband, ask your parents. No, you don't want to do that. Because when you do that in sales, as I hopefully have explained clearly, you're actually bringing that person's self-confidence, self-esteem down. What you want to do is bring it up, and subconsciously your prospects know that you're raising the bar for them to have to step up to the plate when you're not being a nice guy or not being a nice gal as a prospect on your sales calls. Now, you have to learn to do this in a calibrated way, because otherwise you can swing the pendulum too far to ego. That's why inside a mastermind, you get to be around people that have mastered where do you need to sit on the pendulum. And when you see other closers inside the mastermind hitting $50,000, $60,000 a month in commissions, and you see the way they talk, you see they're precise, they're deliberate, they're direct, they're not nice guys or not nice gals, but they are actually doing it in a encouraging and a supportive way whenever they communicate to the peers inside the mastermind, and that's the same way that they communicate to their prospects. When you get around people that have mastered this by osmosis, which is just it rubbing off on you, you start to understand how to behave in this way, okay? Now, I just subtly touched on the next one, but before we get into the next one, I just want to finish up this being too nice, which is to say, being too nice on someone is selfish and it is self-centered. And going back to point number one, which was the deservedness factor of who you are, what do you think happens to your deservedness factor of earning more money by closing the deals and closing a person, a prospect, when you are selfish, when you are self-centered? Do you think your deservedness goes up, or do you think your deservedness goes down? Of course, your deservedness goes significantly down when you're being self-centered. You're caring more about yourself. When people are a nice person, too nice, it's actually because they care so much about the other person's opinion of them, which if you're caring so much about the other person's opinion of you, that is because you are being selfish. You are being egocentric, self-centered. If you do those things, going back to point number one, your deservedness factor comes down. So these start to tie together in certain ways. You can't be too nice on a sales call, because if you're too nice, you're sub-communicating to the prospect that they are feeble, they are incapable, they aren't worth anything more. When you're too nice on someone, you're basically saying, oh yeah, you just settle there. Subconsciously, is that going to make someone want to give you money and buy from you? No, People want to give money and buy from someone that actually says, hey man, you're playing small. You can be a lot more than this, which I am saying to you that you're still watching free content on YouTube instead of actually making the decision to invest in coming aboard and joining the mastermind, which you know you need to do. You know you're supposed to have already done that, but you just haven't done that. If I clapped you on the back and patted you on the back and said, hey man, or hey girl, that sounds a bit weird, but whether you're a male or female watching this video, congratulations for watching the YouTube video. It's like, no, that would be too nice. It's better that you're watching the YouTube video than watching Netflix. But I would be too nice to you and actually being selfish if I didn't communicate to you, you need to go to the link below this video, click the link, and join the mastermind. You don't need to be watching more free content. You need to get the mentor, get inside the community, and get the actual training that we do inside the mastermind. Get around the other unicorns. That is the truth. And I would be selfish and self-centered to not be telling you that is the level that you actually need to be operating at if you truly want to get to being a master salesperson and making a lot of money in sales. All right. I touched on the next one, which is point number 5. Reason number 5 that your prospects don't want to buy from you is being too hard. So the previous one was being too nice. The next one is being too hard. When you're being too harsh on someone, it's coming from attachment and it's coming from ego. So this is a pendulum. Too soft and too nice on one side, too hard and too egocentric on the other side. Now, I said the other point, being too soft, is also egocentric. So I want that to be clear. It's obviously egocentric when you're just hammering someone from a place of ego. That's crystal clear. It's not as obvious, which is why it's often what more salespeople struggle with, when they're being too nice. They think they're being nice to the prospect. Oh, I'm a nice person. I'm amicable. I'm sociable. I'm pragmatic or diplomatic, whatever fucking rationalizing word you want to call it. No, you're just an asshole because you're being too nice on someone and you're letting them drown. You're letting them die. You're letting their dreams die. You're letting them suffer, which is what I do inside the mastermind. Is the opposite. I don't applaud or say to any of the members that I'm happy that they hit fucking 10K a month in commission. I'm like, that sucks. That sucks because you're here. You've got the training. You can do so much more. What the fuck are you fucking around doing? You're clearly not turning up to the calls, doing the training, putting in the work, committing to more. So I would say that either of these 2 points are too selfish and too egocentric and too self-centered, which is being too soft or being too hard. Being too hard is where you're asking your challenging questions. Why haven't you invested in yourself? Why have you spent 2 years running this same cycle over and over again, knowing that it's affecting the time that you could have spent with your newborn son or your wife or whatever? When you ask those questions in a way where you're getting a kick out of it, oh, I'm getting to hammer the prospect and beat my chest and say I'm the big honcho, that's when you're being too harsh on someone. And it's not about the level of harshness. As I said, being too soft is equally as bad. It's about the level of attachment. And this is the crazy thing. Going back to this pendulum, on the soft side, you're too attached to your own validation that you're seeking and approval and being someone that fits in and everyone likes you. You're too attached to that you end up not truly caring about what needs to be said to the prospect, and you don't say what needs to be said because you're caring more about yourself. It's attachment. On the other side of the spectrum, you're now attached to your position of superiority. It's still attachment. Ego, both comes from attachment. The place in the middle, which is where you're not being too nice and you're not being too harsh, from a place of attachment to wanting to be seen as better than people and to be able to win over them or win the deal, beat the prospect. Oh, I beat that prospect and I close the objection and I beat them. That type of language, you're not going to go very far in sales. It's, I helped that person. I told them what they needed to say and they rose to the challenge. Remember what I said? Showing people that they can and they should and they're capable of stepping up rather than bringing them down and saying, oh, fear of the money, or, oh, it's not a big investment, trying to downplay the fears or the phobias. So when you are being too harsh and it's coming from this attachment or ego, you're not able to be in the center point. The center point is where you're unattached. There is no ego. I'm not attached to whether the person gives a shit about whether they like, I'm not attached or give a shit whether the person likes me if I tell them the truth. But equally, I'm not going to do the work for them. I'm not going to be like, hey man, you have to do this investment right now. And they're like, oh, I'm not sure. I'm a bit scared. Listen. And then you're still going at them and trying to get them to do something. That's still attachment. The center point is detachment. You've heard this before in sales. So of the 7 reasons that your prospects don't want to buy from you, 2 of them are from being too far on either of these sides of the spectrum, which are ironically both the same thing. In sales, we have what's called chunking up and chunking down. On this level of analysis, one is too soft and one is too hard. But on a higher level of analysis, if we chunk up, why are you being too soft? Why are you being too hard? Attachment, ego. They're the same thing. The salesperson that shows up in the right way to get prospects to want to buy from them doesn't have an ego, isn't attached, and they'll say what needs to be said, but they're not fishing for an outcome. What happens, happens. Okay? All right. Number 6, The sixth reason that your prospect doesn't want to buy from you is being scripted, being fake in the script that you're using, the word tracks you're using. And as a result of that, you as the closer feel the disingenuousness of it. And I've talked a lot about energy, attracting like for like, birds of a feather flock together. This is also known as the law of the mirror. If a part of you, which unless you're a fucking narcissist or a psychopath, if you're reading from a sales script and you're memorizing word tracks and you're getting to the point in the call where you deploy your fucking memorized parroted word track, unless you're a narcissist or a psychopath or just a weirdo, there is a part of you deep inside of you. And for some salespeople, it's higher to the surface, which is why they say, you know what, I don't want to be fake anymore. I'm going to fix this. For other closers, it's more suppressed. There is a part of them inside that doesn't feel good about themselves. They're like, I'm not having a real conversation. I've just memorized the lines. The prospect says a thing and that's my rebuttal. I'm going to drop the rebuttal in. Your prospects are smart enough on a deep sociological level, which means we've been around other human beings. Humans have been around each other for thousands and thousands of years. They have a very good spider sense of when someone's fake and when someone's not. Most people don't have the IQ where they can communicate why they're getting the heebie-jeebies, why they've got goosebumps, why something's going on. It takes a lot of training on understanding yourself and cause and effect, and also being able to articulate yourself to be able to explain why it's going on. But just because most prospects can't explain it, and most, again, won't even communicate it or attempt to communicate it, doesn't mean they're not feeling it. Most of the reasons that salespeople don't get don't get closes manifests as an objection at the end of the call. And so what the closer then does is goes and invests in objection handling training when the reason the prospect gave the objection was nothing to do with that objection. Oh, it's a lot of money, or I'm scared, or I need to ask someone else. 99% of objections aren't the thing that they say. It's just a lie. And it's not a lie because your prospects are a bad person. Most of the time, it's they're feeling off. They're feeling the heebie-jeebies. They don't want to buy from you for one of these 7 reasons. And they don't know what to say. They've probably seen on a fucking TV show or a movie, it's a lot of money. And they've probably seen that be said on a TV show somewhere. So it's like planted into their brain. Oh yeah, it's just, it's a lot of money, but how can I get back to you? And that's a crazy one. It's like prospects say that when even logically it sounds so stupid to say, how do I get back to you? It's like a rhetorical question. They've heard that before on a movie or a TV show or, whatever, in a book, if they're old school. And so unless you are completely out of touch with reality, you already feel something inside of your gut that you don't feel comfortable closing in this fake way. What you may not have clocked and may not have pieced the dots together is that how you feel is being communicated to your prospect. They might not be able to receive it consciously and go, oh, that closer feels uncomfortable that they're using a script and they're a fake ass. I've sensed it and I'm going to communicate back to them. Hey, Mr. Closer, thank you so much for sending me the fucking, what they call it, where you telepathically communicate with someone. Thank you for sending me the message that you feel genuine. I agree. I think you sound genuine. I don't want to buy from you. They're not going to be able to communicate to that to you because number one, it's all happening on an invisible level. It's not visible spectrum of light or sound. It's all energy, which is invisible, some say. Although some people can see auras. That's another conversation. And also most people aren't able to articulate that. But just because they can't see it visibly or articulate it verbally doesn't mean they don't feel it. And so if you have that rising up sense of awareness that you don't feel good about being scripted, memorizing word tracks, not liking simply the methodology of how you sell, then you have a choice now, which is how much money are you willing to flush down the toilet whilst you wait for that discomfort and dissatisfaction with the fakeness to bubble over? Let's say you're at a point where it's at this level. Let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, your dissatisfaction and your feeling of distaste with your sales methodology is a 3 out of 10. And when it gets to a 10 out of 10, you're like, enough's enough. I'm going to go and learn scriptless selling. I'm going to go and learn how to have a real, authentic, genuine, no bullshit conversation where I'm truly connecting with a human being and having a conversation. Let's say it has to go from 3 out of 10 to a 10. And let's say it's going to go up by 1 point per month. So that's 7 more months. If you're making $5,000 to $10,000 a month, let's just say $5,000 a month in commissions, and removing this one of these 7 reasons your prospects don't want to buy from you, which is communicating that inauthenticness to the prospect and them just telling you some bullshit objection and ultimately not buying. If removing that could get you from $5,000 to $15,000, that is a difference of $10,000 per month. If it's going to take you 7 months to get to that point, you've lost $10,000 a month times 7 months, which is $70,000. Now, I can tell you for the data that we have inside the mastermind, most closers that join the mastermind are at around 5 to $15,000. It's usually where they start at. They start about 5 to 15,000. We have a lot of people that join at 25,000. We have some people that join day one of sales. They haven't done any sales training. They're like, I know that I want to learn this way of selling because I don't want to flush that $70,000 down the toilet. But on average, we have probably a largest number between $5,000 and $15,000. Of those people that are at $5,000 to $15,000 a month, when they then ditch this reason, this money leak for prospects to not want to buy from them, they very often, very quickly get up to 20,000 to 30,000. So if we take those average numbers and we'll just say they're at 10,000 and they go to 20 or 30, that's a difference between taking a middle number there between 20 and 30, $15,000 difference. If you're going to take another 6 months to get to that bubbling over point, 6 times 15 is $90,000. Do you want to let $90,000 go down the drain? What would you do with that $90,000 if I just handed it to you now? I mean, it's not quite a Lamborghini. You could get a secondhand one, but it's a pretty fucking nice car, or that's a fat deposit for a condo. Do you want to flush that down the toilet? If the answer is no, then instead of waiting for it to bubble over, which is what not very successful people do, they just wait and wait and wait until the frustration bubbles over, which is known as being reactive or being passive. Very successful people are proactive, and they are, or just simply active. They're proactive. They look at that and they go, okay, this is a 3 out of 10 and it's going up. And the thing that is a 3 out of 10 is a negative thing. In other words, I have to remove this thing at some point. And they're just proactive. As the saying goes, don't put off to tomorrow what you can do today. Don't put off to tomorrow what you can do today. If you know that tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, you are going to want to learn the methodology of selling authentically because you don't want to be literally repelling your prospects because they can feel that you don't even like the disingenuousness of your methodology, then how about you just join the mastermind today? Because if you don't, and you do it later, and you say, oh, I'll just do it later, number one, you're going to attract prospects that say that same thing because the law of the mirror. But number two, how much money is that costing you to just put it off? A lot of fucking money. So ask yourself where you're at on that scale of 1 to 10, dissatisfaction, feeling fake, feeling disingenuous. Then I'm going to ask you a direct question. Do you believe that consciously or unconsciously, your prospects can feel that energy from you? If the answer is yes, and you look at the number you're at on a scale of 1 to 10, then the final thing is, do you want to wait? Are you going to wait? Are you willing to wait and flush all of that money down the toilet? Or are you just going to go, you know what? I'm not going to wait till it gets to a 7, 8, 9, or a 10 out of 10. I'm going to be a proactive person. It's like the person that's got a toothache or something wrong with their body. And it's like, it's not that bad. So they just keep going on, keep going and keep going. And then all of a sudden, it's a critical life thing, or it's something that's going to cost them thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to fix. That's just not how successful people operate. Successful people go, okay, there's a little niggling thing here. I'm going to go get it checked. And when they get it checked early, like cancer, sorry to be blunt, guys, but like if you got cancer and you got like a lump somewhere and you just leave it and leave it and leave it, likelihood of you dying is pretty high. If you've got a lump and you go and get it removed early, you've got a very high likelihood of surviving and not getting more cancer. It's an extreme example, but hopefully you get the point. So with this disingenuousness or inauthenticness, if you believe that your prospects can feel it and you don't want to keep flushing that money down the toilet, then the link to join the mastermind is below this video. Or do you want to lose $90,000 over the next 6 months on average? I wouldn't. I would buy myself another watch. Okay. All right. Final point. Reason number 7 that your prospects don't want to buy from you is you don't have the burning desire in you. This is another energetic one. This is complacency with your energy. And it's another version of the law of the mirror. If you're not the person that is transmitting a fire, a hunger, a fuel into the environment that you're in, that you want more in life, you need more in life, you're going for more in life, when you then attract your prospects onto your sales calls and they feel that you're just this fucking sloth, like the sloth from Ice Age, then they just stay in that state. Whereas when they get on a call with you and they can feel, and trust me, people can feel your energy. You've ever been around someone that's just super going for life and just enthusiastic. You're like, shit, like it makes you rethink your situation. You're like, shit, I'm kind of being lazy and complacent and rationalizing and moving too slowly on things and not investing in myself. When you get around someone that's playing a bigger game and playing at a faster level and simply just oozing out energy and enthusiasm, it makes you reset your barometer of where am I currently operating? How am I currently showing up? So if you're on a sales call and you show up and however much money you just made last month, 5K, 7K, 10K, you don't have a burning desire to make more money, to live a better life, to become a better version of yourself. Your prospects feel that, again, unconsciously or consciously, and they're like, I don't want to buy from this person. I don't want to buy from a fucking loser that doesn't want more in their own life. You show up to your call as a closer not needing, not wanting, needing more in your life, your prospects are like, nah, I don't really need more in my life. Again, they might not communicate that to you. They probably won't say directly, hey, you know what, Josh, actually hanging around you and seeing what a fucking loser you are, I don't really need to do this ecom thing and make more money. I'll just stay being a school teacher or whatever. Or I don't really need to lose the 30 pounds. Like, I'm fine just having a bit of a dad bod. They won't communicate that directly to you. But indirectly, they'll hang up the phone, not buy from you, or bullshit their way through a bunch of objections at the end of the call saying, oh, it's a lot of money. And if you learn your word track, you handle that. And then they say, well, actually, it's Tuesday and I don't make decisions on Tuesday. Okay, you handle that. What difference does Wednesday make to Tuesday? And then they say, oh, well, my wife's not on the call. Have to speak to my wife first. You wouldn't know this, but the guy probably doesn't even fucking have a wife. He's just telling you that because he's like, oh, shit, how do I get off the call without... And the irony is the prospect is being too much of a nice guy, which is one of your problems as a closer, to not turn around and say, you know what, Mr. Closer, Mrs. Closer, I just don't feel like you want more in life, and therefore I don't trust you. I don't want to buy from someone that doesn't want and need more in their life. They're not going to communicate that to you because they're also too much of a nice guy or too much of a nice girl. So, in conclusion, the seventh reason is simply your energetic signature. It's known as a signature, your energy signature, your aura around you. When you shine brighter, which is more fire, more hunger, more ferocity, more virility in you, more burning desire to go to the next level, your aura changes. Now, most people can't see auras, but they can feel it. They can feel it, and it's a pull or a push. It's like two magnets. If they're on the sales call with a closer that is just going after fucking life, investing, putting in the work, getting around bigger players, getting in a community of people that are all pushing for the next level, the prospect feels a magnetic attraction to you, not a physical sexual attraction, but they want to get closer to you. They want to move towards you because our biological, our biology knows what's good for us, even if our brain isn't computing it. It's like, if you've ever heard when someone's in like a burning car, there's been a lot of stories where someone can rip the whole car door off, even though normally you wouldn't have that strength for it. That's not a conscious thing. It's an unconscious thing. Your body just moves in a direction. Your muscles tighten and they strengthen, and you can rip a car door off. There are also times where people have, been asleep, and yet while asleep, they've gone and walked into somewhere that they needed to go to. And it's like, how does your spirit or your psyche or your mind know where to take you? Because our body is actually doing more control than our conscious mind a lot of the time. It's why your heart beats without you having to think about it. Okay? It's why if you try and hold your breath, eventually you'll go, even if you're trying to hold your breath, your body's just going to react for you. And so on an energetic level, our bodies know what's best for us. And what's best for us is to go towards people that are pushing for more in their life, people that need to advance, people that need to grow, people that need to expand, people that need to flourish. If you're not that person, your prospects have the opposite effect, which is they're on the sales call from you and they're kind of like getting further and further away from you energetically. They might not literally be sitting further back in their chair, but metaphorically, their spirit is distancing themselves from a person that is bad for them. Now, you might be thinking, I'm not bad for my prospects. Well, depends what spectrum we want to put it on. But you're certainly bad for your prospects comparative to how good for your prospects you would be if you're the type of person that has a burning commitment to go after more in your life, to expand, to grow, to develop, to evolve, okay? So the final one is that energetic tone, that energetic undercurrent. Your prospects just feel it. Their body feels it. Their spirit, their psyche feels it. So if you don't have that burning desire to go for more in your life, and not just have the desire, but action that desire, like have the desire and then take the committed actions that you know you need to take to fulfill that desire, prospects don't want to buy from you. They don't. There will be some prospects that still do. I get that. I'm not saying you don't have any prospects to buy from you, but these all stack together. The difference between the amount of money that you're currently making in commissions, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 a month, and why I was making 100,000, that extra, let's say you're at 10,000, that extra 90,000, 15,000 of that you're losing for reason number one, who you are. Your prospects don't want to buy from you because you don't have the deserved factor, the way you're showing up, the way you're investing in yourself, etc., who you are. $15,000 of that money that you're flushing down the toilet every single month is from your skill set. You haven't mastered sales. You aren't going deeper. You aren't going fuller. You aren't getting to the truth in your sales calls. $15,000 of that money is your beliefs. You're literally projecting unqualified prospects into your sales process. $15,000 of that is you're being too nice because of ego, because of self-centeredness. $15,000 of that is being too hard from ego, from attachment, swaggering around, wanting to close the prospect because you're fucking Billy Big Balls. Well, you're going to lose money. 15,000 of that is because you feel disingenuous and your prospects can feel that. Each of these things accounts for a portion of the money that you're losing. Does that make sense? Okay. So those are the 7 reasons that your prospects don't want to buy from you. Now, this is the most important part of this video if you actually want to make more money in sales. So do not click this video off unless you want to stay at your current amount of income. Now what you need to do is I'm going to give you 3 steps, that was 4, 3 steps to stop falling prey to these 7 reasons that you are influencing your prospects to not want to buy from you. 3 steps. Okay, step 1, go back through some of your recent calls. And I said it at the start of this video, most of you won't fucking do this. And the only way I'm going to let you off the hook for not doing it is if you go and click the link below the video and just join the mastermind, because that's an even higher level of action that will get you further than what I'm about to tell you to do. But if you're not going to join the mastermind or join someone else's mastermind, but just take an action to join the mastermind, the training, the mentorship, the support, the community that you need to be in, if you're not going to take that action and you don't take this action that I'm going to tell you, then you're not going to make any more money. Okay. The action is this: go back through your old calls, which is what we do live on the sales calls. But instead of you doing it yourself, I'm reviewing your call live and I'm going to show you which one of these 7 things you fucked up, because I can see when you're not who you need to be and you don't have deservedness factor. I can see when you don't have the sales skills. I can see when you sound scripted and you feel it and you feel like you're just going through the motions. I can tell you when you're being too harsh, too soft. I can show you all these things. So you could have a mentor show it to you and just instantly cut you to the answer, or you can do the work yourself, which is the slower lane, but better to be in the slower lane than fucking off the side of the motorway, sitting there trying to make a fucking fire out of fucking tin wool, out of wool and tin, okay? So step 1 is go back through your calls and rate which one of these 7 reasons is why you lost the call. If in the last week you lost 20 calls, go back through them. Was it because you were too soft? Was it because you were too hard? Was it because you feel scripted and you know that's how you feel? Was it because your beliefs that you projected that someone was unqualified? Was it your skill set? You don't have a level of mastery over sales? Was it your energy? You're not showing up in your personal life to deserve to close more people and lead more people. Go back through the calls and find which of the reasons it was. Okay, call number 2 on Tuesday with John, that was for reason number 1. If you build the awareness and the attribution, that's the first step. Awareness is the first step to solving a problem to get to the next level. Step 2, then I want you to look at all of those different reasons combined. How much money was that lost for you? How much money did that cost you? You lost 20 calls this week. Each of those deals was worth $1,000 commission. You now have attribution as to why you lost them. So you lost $20,000 in commission this week. You need to know to quantify the cost of this error. First step is awareness of what error you make. Step 2 is quantifying the cost, which is going to give you the burning commitment to fucking fix it. If you don't quantify the cost, you just see the problem, but you're like, man, no big deal. Step 3, then what are you going to do about it? Step 3 is action. Step 1 is identifying and bringing awareness to the problem. Step 2 is quantifying the cost of that problem. And step 3 is actioning the action that will fix the problem. What are you going to do about it? You're going to watch more YouTube videos? You're going to do more of your own sales call reviews? Are you going to do the internal work on your own? You're going to learn to master sales on your own. You're going to learn how to not be a pussy. Learn how to not get your ego in the way where you're being too harsh on people. You're going to teach yourself how to sell without a script. Or if you want help with any of these things, are you going to take action now and join the mastermind and come on the inside to work directly with me on the internal mastery, which by the way is being too soft, being too hard, your beliefs, who you are as a person, and your burning desire. Those are all internal mastery, which we literally teach on inside the mastermind and install the solutions to each of these things. It's the same thing I taught Alex Hormozi's old gym launch sales team that took them to their highest close rates in over a year. And the other one, skill set mastery and not being scripted, those other 2, that's scriptless selling. So this is what we teach inside the mastermind. Internal mastery plus scriptless selling equals make more money in sales, because you remove the 7 reasons that your prospects don't want to buy from you. So the question is, are you going to do the work to go back through your old calls, rate which one of these reasons is why you lost them, quantify how much money that's flushed down the toilet for you, and think about what that money would have been for you. Would it have been the deposit for the house that you want to move out from your parents' house? Would it have been the watch that you've always wanted? Would it be the Mustang? One of our members, Pete Clements, he joined the mastermind, he made more money, and he got a Mustang for himself, a Ford Mustang, a car that he always wanted. One of our other members, Skylar, he makes $60,000 a month. He's now a father. He told his wife, as she was pregnant, she doesn't have to go to work anymore, which was her dream. And it was his dream for her. He was able to accomplish these things because he realized how much money was it costing him. And he said, what I'm going to fucking do about it is something today, right now. I'm going to get the training, the mentorship, the support, the community to be able to fix these different things. So how much money is it costing you? And then what are you going to do about it? Those are the 7 reasons that your prospects don't want to buy from you. Internal mastery, pushing your prospects away, not learning scriptless selling, pushing your prospects away, not being able to master sales and go deep enough, not being genuine and authentic and communicating that energy to your prospects, how much longer are you going to continue to have 7 different reasons in your sales life that your prospects don't want to buy from you, and continue flushing all of those commissions that could be going into your pocket down the toilet? How many more days are you going to do that? If the answer is not another day, click the link below this video and join the mastermind, because you are making the exact amount of money that you have chosen to make. You are making exactly the amount of money, deservedness factor, that you deserve to be making. If you want to make more money, you need to deserve to make more money. The person that deserves to make more money is doing more training, is aligning themselves with a mentor that has already accomplished what they want to accomplish and beyond, is inside a community of people that are playing a bigger game, going to the next level, and living by a higher standard of excellence. If you're not doing those things, that's exactly why you're making the money that you are making right now. If you want to make more money, you know what you need to do. I'll see you on the inside.